Good evening, it's the Tonny and Tim show. We're back with the final lap series. I'm Tonny.
And I'm Tim.
Beautiful football that we had in midweek. Of course, Tim, the Champions League, reaching an ultimate climax. We had very interesting football in midweek. We talked about it on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
It gave us what we wanted.
I think that's why it's called the Champions League. It's a battle of the champions, and there is no better game like the one we saw last night, the one we saw in midweek Wednesday, Tony. Man City, Tony, looking to have almost got there, and then Tottenham in the next second is there, and that's how it felt the entire game from the first whistle.
What a whirlwind of emotions in that particular game. Pep at one point thinking they had gone through with that late Sterling strike, and then losing it through a VAR call, which will be a big decision if the Premier League is to introduce it next season. It's something that I think we'll be seeing a lot of drama like that. We had 4 beautiful games played there. Manchester United traveling to Spain, losing that game 3-0 in a very interesting performance from Barcelona, and also certainly interesting performance from David De Gea team.
Yeah, Tony, David De Gea, I think it's the second time it has happened. The other time was again with the best player, Ronaldo, there. And he apologized to the team, that's what the news is saying. But I thought Man United as an entire team were very poor in this fixture.
No, I think it was poor from De Gea. I think United had a few good moments there. We didn't expect them to do much. We know what the Camp Nou is like, but it was suddenly a big game there. And of course, we had the other game, Ajax.
Yeah.
The very interesting team this season, beating Juve away from home. Yeah. 2-1.
Yeah, Tony, Ajax winning, and I think they're the biggest winners of the quarterfinals, because none of us expected them to go through. Yes, they had beaten Real Madrid in the previous round, but eliminating a Ronaldo Juventus, I thought that was a huge performance by them. And now playing Tottenham in the semi-final, I think Ajax will fancy their chances.
Big one there, and of course on Wednesday night is when we had the big one. Liverpool beat Porto 4-1 in a game that we might have thought Liverpool already had it on the plate. But Tottenham traveled to Etihad Stadium and got a very interesting win on away goals rule. 4-3. What a performance from both sides.
Yeah, huge performance, Tony. Just like I said, there were goals here and there for the teams. You blink your eye and the other team has taken it. And the beauty of Champions League, the away goal rule is so nice that even if you're losing, you're still qualifying. We know Tottenham lost the tie, the fixture, but they won the tie. And that's how Champions League is.
Very blistering football. That means we'll be seeing the semi-finals. Liverpool will be taking on, of course, Barcelona. And Spurs will be meeting an Ajax side full of youth, captained by a 19-year-old Matthijs de Ligt. But of course, we turn our eyes on the business in the Premier League. It's the final lap. No one can afford any kind of slip-ups like those that we saw in the midweek, especially things like De Gea. I don't think we expect to see them. And on Saturday, we'll be kicking off things in an early kickoff. I repeat, team. These teams have played 3 times. Now they will have played 3 times in the last 12 days. Tottenham will be visiting the Etihad again. They don't even have to leave Manchester.
I'll be surprised if Tottenham travel back to London, then again back to Manchester. I think they should keep around. But what a way to go into that fixture now for Tottenham, because the spirits are up. The spirits are up, and Man City, on the other hand, must be deflated, Tony. We all know when you lose a tie, and in such a manner, usually to pick up those players, it might take a toll on them, and it might take some time. We've seen that with PSG. Their results have not been the same again. I recalled Man United in 2012 when they lost, I think, 9 red card to Real Madrid. They went on to lose 3 games in 5. So we have to watch out. This could be the downfall of City. I'm so scared.
Very interesting. Manchester City will be coming into this fixture hoping that they must keep their run going in the Premier League. They're on 83 points. 2 points behind Liverpool with the game in hand, of course. So they must make sure that they win their games. We know that if City win all their remaining games, they're champions in the Premier League. So this is one of the tests that they'll be facing, especially after such a demoralizing game in the Champions League where Spurs went through. If you look at these 2 sides, the games have been coming thick and fast. You would think Manchester City have the depth to cope with the amount of games. Tottenham, on the other side, they have a very narrow side, but of very effective players. They don't have Harry Kane, their their top talisman right now. Heung-min Son has stepped up to the plate, and all the members elsewhere in the squad have been punching above their weight this past side all season. They had a rough patch 2 months ago. Is that a lot of the games coming thick and fast? Will it take its toll in this particular game, especially now that they have a lot of pressure off their shoulders in the Champions League?
No, Tony, when I look at Tottenham, you've said they are one group, a small group of players there. And the first thing, 15. The first thing for me I see is they're able to gel. Because if they're to substitute, it's just 1 or 2 players. The rest are all youth academy players. So I thought that is what is making them tick, especially in this last part of the season. And you've also mentioned that could the toll be taken on them for the number of games. But these are the last 4 games. I think you have to find that energy to cross the line, and I believe Tottenham has the ability. On the other hand, Manchester City, they have all this talent, but we've seen it only when Mahrez comes in, he's not giving the same as what Bernardo Silva or Sterling has given in. So there is that gap between the players coming from bench, even if they have the quality in them, they're not ticking like the starting 11 of Man City. So I think that's where the difference is.
It will be very, very interesting to see how these teams approach this game. Both managers, you would think that after such a big game, the managers should be able to rest some players, but they don't have that luxury.
No.
At this point in the season, both teams chasing something. Manchester City still chasing the title. Tottenham still trying to hang on to a top 4 place. So it will be very, very exciting to see how both managers approach that game. Coming to you very, very early on Saturday afternoon, 2:30. There, that game that will be played. Manchester City taking on Spurs. Before you give me your prediction, who are the key men to watch? We saw Sterling getting a pair of goals in the midweek, as well as Heung-min Son. Who are the other players in these 2 sides that have caught the eye for you this season?
I think it's Aguero. Aguero still has to be the man. We know he likes taking the golden boot, and is in the mix still there in the fight for that boot. I'm just surprised that Man City has tweaked their number 6. They seem to be playing Gundogan ahead of Fernandinho, even if Fernandinho, we know, was injured over some time. But he's back in the mix. I thought he should be starting in that team. So it's Aguero in the front, and then in the midfield, do they bring back Fernandinho or maintain Gundogan? And then on the other side of Tottenham, I think Lucas Moura, I was so happy with him. When Kane got injured, I favored their chances, because playing him and Son up front, it makes the other, it's like a false 9. You don't know who to mark. So I think that those are the 2 players I'm targeting.
Very, very interesting. I think the goalkeepers will have to be on top of their game. Letting in 7 goals in midweek was not a good performance from either of them. So it will be very interesting to see how the goalkeepers come into this game. This number of goals shatter the goalkeepers, their morale or even confidence. So it will be very interesting. I believe I have to cast an eye on the goalkeepers in this one. What's your prediction, Tim?
I've gone for 2-1, Man City.
Big one for Man City there. I think Man City, after that game, they can be able to pick themselves up. I've given them a big win, 3-1, and that's based on the hope that maybe Tottenham will relax a little bit after getting over the line there. After the break, we'll be bringing you more of the predictions. Don't go anywhere.
And who do you call in the middle of the night? Pop, 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 champagne, yo, might for this jumpy on the mic be all night. Now you have me where you need, boom. My heart like this card, now you see.